A 9-yard run by Joe Rosenbrock up a special teams miscue by Fort Morgan. It took 6 seconds, and the Beet Diggers lead 14-0. Welcome back to Beet Digger Stadium. I'm John Beltran with Dave Urich. Beet Digger replay to follow. And to kick it off, once again, is Kadena.
His first kick, he just kind of got underneath of it and scooped it, didn't he?
Yeah, he got all the way to around the 4-yard line to Lopez over there, who's back deep to receive. And let's see how deep he kicks this one. This one's a little bit shorter, but still has some mustard to it. Fielded at the 9 by one of the upmen, running left to the 15, breaking out of a tackle across the 20 to the 21, and that is Michael Fitzsimmons, a return of 12 yards. And the initial hit was by Ismael Hernandez, a 5'9", 150-pound sophomore, and then the rest of the Beet Diggers cleaned it up.
You know, Izzy's really fast. Boy, that kid can run. He kind of has a long stride, and it's deceiving, but he can run right away from people. Rosenbrock got down there and kind of shook the whole play up to begin with that missed tackle, and then Izzy was there to clean it.
We told you about the Beet Digger defensive line. The linebackers are Joe Rosenbrock, Skyler Seawald, and then, of course, in the secondary, Kukas, along with Eric Garcia, Trevor Blake as well. Man in motion to the right, 1st and 10. Anderson's going to give it off right up the gut. That's a gain of maybe a yard or two for James Martins, I believe, at the football. The sophomore. Middle of that Beet Digger defensive line, including Skyler Seawald, made the play. 2nd and 9 after a gain of 1 for Martins. And Tanner Morrow, by the way, also in that secondary for the Beet Diggers. Coming in with play instructions is the quarterback, Anderson. He raced over to the sideline, which means that play clock's going to be running down anytime soon. Martins in that backfield. One receiver out to the left. That's Jake Schneider. Lopez out to the right. On 2nd and 9, Anderson under center. And the man in motion to the right. And the counter running left and tripped up in the backfield. A loss of 3. And that's Skyler Seawald making the play on Fitzsimmons. 3rd down, we'll call it about 11.
You know, Brush is still hanging out in that 5-2, and it's been a long time since we've run that defense clear back to, I think Coach Drex ran it a couple of years, and then that was about it. We haven't seen that much since the Larry Mills era, but I'll tell you what, it's really doing the job, and Seawald's all over the place with that linebacker position. It seems like those 5 defensive linemen are really covering things up. Trips to the right, one receiver to the left. We'll call it 3rd and 12 now from the 18-yard line. Anderson has yet to attempt a pass. And we've got a timeout called by Fort Morgan. Timeout is brought to you by Edwards Right Price Market in Flowerland, located at 1201 East Platte Avenue in Fort Morgan. Stop by and get what you need to refuel on game days at Edwards Right Price Market and Flowerland. Dave, you know, this is what we mentioned at the outset. You've got a first start for a quarterback and the first start for lots of guys on that Mustang squad. They've just got to get the kinks out and relax right now because the Beet Diggers obviously have intimidated this team early. And maybe if Fort Morgan disagrees with that, they certainly have outplayed this team. There's no question about that. Oh, absolutely. And then, you know, last year, remember, Morgan started off with a trick play on special teams that gave them the big advantage and put Brush on their heels. And this year they tried that little onside kick attempt. And, you know, had they received that, you know, it could have been a little bit different possibly. But, you know, since Brush started out with such great field position, Morgan's been on their heels ever since.
5:11 to go, opening quarter. Brush leads Fort Morgan 14-0. 3rd down and 12 for the Mustangs at their own 18-yard line. One step back, trips to the right, one receiver to the left. Anderson back to throw, rolling right. Here comes pressure, throwing on the run. That pass is going to be incomplete. Intended at the 29-yard line for Jay Carpenter, the tight end. Beet Diggers had that well defended, and Eric Garcia, had he had another step closer to that ball, would have picked it off. And now the Mustangs will have to punt, and Ryan Probasco, hoping for a better result. He really didn't have a chance last time because the snap went off the helmet, it looked like, of Zach Carpenter. Eric Garcia back to receive at the 50-yard line. Waiting the snap. There it is. Beet Diggers have a nice rush. A beautiful spiraling punt. Garcia's going to back up, and it's going to land at the 39-yard line of Brush. It takes a Fort Morgan roll. down to the 34-yard line. An impressive punt there of 48 yards. And for the first time, the Beet Diggers don't have great field position, but it's still fairly favorable.
Yeah, I bet if Garcia could have that one over, he would have started about 5 yards deeper and fielded the punt. I thought that was one of the best jobs Brush did on their special teams last year. They fielded almost every punt that came off, and anytime you let the ball land, there's a good chance it's going to roll quite a ways, and that's something they got to try to prevent.
Committed to serving those in production. Ag, Premier Farm Credits, is the gold standard in ag lending. 1st and 10 for the Beet Diggers at their own 34-yard line. Albo, the receiver, to the left. Kukas to the right. Seawald is a setback along with Tanner Morrow. Garcia under center with a hard count. It looked like a Mustang move. And that'll be a 5-yard penalty against Garrett Strobel, the defensive tackle. Only a sophomore at 6 foot 225, and that's part of the growing pains you go through.
Yep, that's for sure. He's right down there, right by the ball. But Garcia, he's been in that backfield. He's a really good leader, and we've said it a million times about what a great presence he is on the field because he knows the strategy of the game. He knows how to do those little hard counts, and those are things that a more of a veteran quarterback does. And he was able to put it to use there.
1st and 5. The ball's just shy of the Brush 39-yard line. The Beet Diggers leading 14-0. Kyle Muir's in motion to the left. Garcia's going to pitch it left to Tanner Morrow. Bobble the ball now, reclaims possession of it, and he's across the 40 to around the 42-yard line. Picks up 3 yards in the play. Michael Fitzsimmons, the 5'4", 130-pound junior linebacker, threw his weight into that one and brought down Morrow. It is a gain of around 3. It'll make it 2nd down and a long 2.
That was a 59. They kind of faked that handoff to the fullback in between the guard and the tackle. They actually pitch it right underneath his arms out there to Morrow. Morrow has that afterburner speed. If he can get it some open field, he can run away from a lot.
Yeah, had he handled that cleanly. Yeah. And I think that wouldn't have derailed him there.